In this lecture, you'll learn how to configure storage capability profiles in the NetApp VSC Virtual Storage Console for VMware with a lab demo. Storage capability profiles allow you to set the characteristics of your storage that will be used when provisioning data stores from VSC and also when deploying virtual machines. The scenario as we start here is that I've already created traditional data stores manually without using VSC. So I configured the storage settings over on my ONTAP system, and then I configured the VMware settings here in the vSphere client. So I've already got manual traditional data stores set up. Then I have installed VSC and I've installed the plugin into the vSphere client, but I haven't done anything in VSC yet other than discover my ONTAP storage. So let's have a look and see where we're at now. So I'll click on the storage page here, and you can see I've got a couple of ESXi hosts, ESXi1 and ESXi2. They've got their local data stores with their local disks, and here are the traditional data stores that I created manually. So I've got NASVol1, which is using NFS, and SANLAN1, which is using iSCSI, and I've connected both of the ESXi hosts up to both of those data stores. So let's have a look at VSC now. So to get here, I go to Menu, and then the Virtual Storage Console, and then in here, I've clicked on Storage Systems. I've just opened this tab up ahead of time to save waiting for it to load. So in Storage Systems, I've discovered the storage system there, because I'd already configured the data stores using the ONTAP storage, and because I entered the credentials in for the admin username to log into the ONTAP storage, I was able to discover the storage from the VSC in VMware. So VSC has discovered that the cluster name is cluster 2, and there's a couple of SVMs there, the SAN SVM and the NAS SVM. That has all been discovered. And then I can also in here click on the storage mapping page, and you see in here again from the discovery of the storage, it's discovered the two data stores. Obviously it knows about the data stores because they are in VMware, and it can see the path, the actual volume name in the ONTAP system that the data store is on, and the LUN for our iSCSI LUN. Okay, so VSC, it's installed, it's discovered the storage, it knows about the existing data stores. So now let's talk about and configure the storage capability profiles. First off, let's have a look at the storage capability profiles page. So again, this is under the VSC menu on storage capability profiles. And right now you can see the 4 default profiles that we spoke about in the previous lecture. There's platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. So if I go back to the storage mappings and look at the data stores that were already configured, they do not have an associated profile right now. The profile it's talking about is the storage capability profile. So the VASA provider has discovered this information. You need to have VASA provider enabled to work with the storage capability profiles, and it can see the information about the existing data stores, but it has not associated them or generated a storage capability profile yet for those existing data stores. So what I could do is I could manually create a new storage capability profile that matches the settings of these data stores, and then I could manually associate them. But that's quite a lot of work, so it's much easier just to have the system automatically generate that for me. So that's what I'll do. In fact, let me show you how you would do it manually. So if I was going to do it manually, I would go to Storage Capability Profiles, I would click on Create, and then I would create a new profile here, give it a name, click on Next. I'd select the platform that my existing data store is on, and then click on Next. And then I would specify the performance that is being configured on there, and then the storage attributes, and then the summary. So obviously going and gathering that information manually would be a bit tedious and time consuming. It's much more convenient to do it automatically. So to do that, back on the storage mapping page, I can do them one at a time. So I could select a data store and then go to actions and then auto-generate. But what I'll do is I'll click on the global auto-generate profiles, and that will generate a storage capability profile for all of my existing data stores. So I'll click on yes. And what's going to happen now is it's going to use Vivassa Provider to query the settings on the storage, and it's then going to automatically generate a storage capability profile based on that. So I can watch it happening in my recent tasks. When it's completed, back on the storage capability profiles page again, if I just refresh this page, I should see the new profiles showing up in here. And there we go, there they are already. So I can see there is 2 new storage capability profiles, which are thick FAS and thin FAS. And if I go back onto the storage mapping page, I can see now that the associated profiles have been associated. So this was blank before, but because I've automatically generated the storage capability profiles, it's created them for me, and then it has associated the relevant data store with the correct profile. If I want to see the settings on the profiles, I'll go back to the storage capability profiles page again, and let's look at thick FAS first. Actually, let's see which storage, which data store this is. So thick FAS is our NAS NFS volume. So I'll go in there and I'll just click on it to see what the settings are. And there I can see all of the settings. I could do the same for the SAN data store as well. Okay, so that's how to automatically generate a storage capability profile. Let's actually make a change to this so you can see what happens when a data store falls out of compliance with its storage capability profile. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the listing of all the storage capability profiles, and then I'm going to select thick FAS, click on the actions drop down, and I'm going to update this profile. And then I'm going to go to the storage attributes page, and right now Vivassa Provider has detected that that data store, the volume that is backing it on the ONTAP storage, has got deduplication disabled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that deduplication is yes. So deduplication should be enabled now for any data stores that are using this storage capability profile. Actually, let's have a look on the ONTAP system just to verify that. So I'll go to my ONTAP cluster, and then I'll go to storage and SVMs, and I can see there is my NAS SVM, and I'll go to volumes and look at the volumes for my NAS SVM, and this is the volume that is being used for the data store. And if I go in there, have a look at the settings on that volume and look at storage efficiency, you can see that storage efficiency is not enabled on the volume. So the Vivassa Provider did get that information correct. If I go back to the storage capability profile now, and what I did was I said that deduplication should be enabled for any data stores that are using that profile. So obviously that's going to cause a problem now, because looking back again at the volume, it's got storage efficiency is disabled. I've said the profile that storage efficiency should be enabled for deduplication. So I'll just wait for that to update. Okay, and now that's done, I'll go back to the storage mapping page, and I'm going to refresh the page here, because you can see that the compliance status was still showing as normal. But when I refresh the page, what's happening is the Vivassa Provider is going to be continuously monitoring the state of your data stores to check that they are in compliance. And because the volume backing this data store is no longer compliant with the storage capability profile, I can see there's an alert for the compliance status. And if I hover my mouse over it, I can see that the required deduplication profile with true and saw false profiles. So it's giving me an alert there to let me know that the volume is not compliant with the storage capability profile. So what I can do is go back to the storage capability profiles, and I'm going to edit this again, and I'm going to set it back. So I'll select it again, choose update again, go to the storage attributes page, set deduplication back to no, click next and finish. and then give us a few seconds to update again. And then when it's done, I can go back to the storage mapping page. And if I refresh here again, then I should see the compliance status comes back as being normal again. Yep, that's all good. Okay, so that's how you automatically generate storage capability profiles for your existing data stores, and also how you can monitor that they haven't changed, that they're still in compliance. Next up, let's have a look at creating our own storage capability profiles. So I will go to the storage capability profile page, and what you can do is you can click on the create button to create one from scratch, as you saw earlier, but typically it's more convenient to clone one of your existing profiles. So I will select the thick FAS profile again, and then go to actions, and I'm going to clone that. And then what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to call this hi_IOPS, because I'm going to set the storage QoS settings in here, and then dedupe off, for deduplication off. And I'm going to copy and paste that name into the description as well, and click on next. Then we're using the FAS in the lab, so that's good. Next, and then I'm going to set a QoS policy group. So this is going to use traditional QoS rather than adaptive QoS, and I'm going to set a maximum IOPS of 50,000 IOPS for the volume. And then click on next. And then I did want deduplication to be set to no, so that is good. And I'll actually make it space reserve of thin provisioned, and click on next, and then click on finish. So that is my high IOPS storage capability profile being generated now. It'll take a few seconds again. And then when it's ready, I am going to clone the thick FAS profile again, and I'm going to do one which is going to be low IOPS. So I will call this low_IOPS, and then I'll say I'm going to turn dedupe on for this profile. And I'll copy and paste the name into the description and say next. Platform is FAS. And I'll say the max IOPS for my low IOPS is 500. Click next. And I wanted deduplication to be turned on for this one, and click next, and then click finish. Okay, so I've created a couple of new storage capability profiles there by cloning an existing one. And what I'm going to be able to do with these profiles is I will be able to provision storage from the VSC here. So what I'm going to do is in the next lab video, I will go to provision a new data store. I will create one with high IOPS dedupe off, and you'll see that it gets those settings, and I'll create another one with low IOPS dedupe on, and you'll see that that storage gets those settings. So what storage capability profiles can be used for is when you are provisioning your data stores from VSC, which is what's recommended. When that information gets pushed to the ONTAP cluster, it's going to get the settings that you want it to have. And as I said earlier, also when you're provisioning your virtual machines, you can choose a compatible data store that you want them to go into based on the storage requirements for that particular virtual machine. Thanks for watching. If you want to get hands-on practice with NetApp storage for free on your laptop, then you can download my free ebook, which you can see above my head right now. Also check out my NetApp Storage Complete course, which will teach you everything you could possibly want to know about ONTAP. Thanks.